Good morning, everyone. I'm out for a walk on a drizzly morning here. It's absolutely beautiful. I figured you might want to have a look at nature as much as you might love looking at my lovely face, that you might want to just have a look around at all the beauty that's out there. It's the first cool morning. For the past couple weeks, it's felt like fall was coming on and off, but it's still been quite warm and humid, and it rained a lot last night. It's still raining this morning, and there's a wonderful cool front that's made its way in. So I don't know if you can hear the rain falling on the umbrella, but you can certainly see it out on the water. I love that I get to spend my time in such an amazing place. So I hope you liked the replacement video from last week of my interview with Kiralani, the Qigong healer. I could have talked to her. It actually was probably good that we got cut off at the end, because I probably could have talked to her for another couple days. I wasn't sure exactly what she was going to ask me, and wow, what amazing questions from her, from the Facebook audience. It was just, even the ones that I didn't know how to answer, somehow the answer came out. So I talked a lot about surrender, and I think I sort of surrendered to what was happening at the time, and even on the questions that I wasn't sure how to answer, I just said, let me go with this. And it was pretty amazing. I had a great time talking to her. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about surrender. This idea came from a friend and colleague of mine, and it didn't hit me that strongly when she mentioned it. She mentioned it at a recent retreat that we were both at, and I sort of thought, yeah, that's a good idea, but I didn't feel it viscerally, didn't feel it in my body. And when that idea came up in the interview last week, I thought, wow, this is pretty amazing. You know, maybe I did integrate a little bit more of it than I thought I would have. So I wanted to talk about surrender as it comes up with, or as it relates to Qigong. We have a person coming here. Oh, she's turning around. I hope she doesn't realize I'm filming. There's a runner up there that I'll try to keep off camera. When I was trying to think about what to talk about today, I asked my neighbor, and I don't know how much she knows about Tai Chi or Qigong, but she jokingly said, since we live in the middle of the woods, why don't you go off in the woods and do some Qigong there? And I said, I wonder what I would do. And she said, stand like a tree. So anyway, I don't know if she knows anything about the standing postures, the pole standing or Zhanzhuang, but one of the postures that I learned was called standing like a tree, and so I thought that was pretty funny, and I mentioned it to her. The standing postures are great. They're maybe not so interesting to watch somebody do on a video, so I decided not to talk about those. But I do want to get to this idea of surrender, right? I was kind of surrendering to the idea that she came up with, letting that soak in, not resisting it. I tend to be a very resistant person. If, there are these people who are really good at convincing you of something and convincing you that it was your idea in the first place. And I tend to be very resistant unless somebody's really good at just kind of saying, convincing me that, that the decision that I made was actually my idea. So I just thought it was so interesting that when she said, oh, standing like a tree, and I was kind of laughed at it. I was like, oh, that's actually a Qigong and Tai Chi thing. and I was really accepting of it. So this idea of surrender, I guess, also has a piece of acceptance to it. You have to be open to other people's ideas and not so in your own little box that you decide that your way is the only way. You know, we spend time with people who have the same ideologies that we do, that we get along with, people that we agree with. And so when you see a concept or philosophy that's outside of your belief system, it can be really easy just to dismiss it and say, oh, that person doesn't know what they're talking about, or to get angry about it because it's not something that you're comfortable with. And so there's this idea of, let's just go with what happens, go with the flow. And I don't know, it's something I've been thinking about lately, and something that I didn't realize was coming up for me until I started talking about it during Kira's interview. So anyway, going with the flow on things brings me to this idea. This is going to be a lot of random stuff, I think. I didn't decide on a specific topic. I just decided that I wanted to be outside in this much cooler weather. It's about mid-60s Fahrenheit. And it's, I feel like I can walk outside without melting. So I just was like, we have to be outside. We have to talk about something. I think I'm going to stop here under this bridge and we'll chat a little bit under here. And it's a creepy old bridge. There's lots of creepy old bridges here. It's got water and stuff dripping down from it. But it's so interesting to watch their turtles that hang out here. And my neighbor's ducks might be somewhere nearby. Her house is right nearby, and the ducks are always hanging out in the water here and coming up on the path. Anyway, going with the flow, so there's this Tai Chi program that I'm part of that we're going to be teaching Tai Chi to veterans for free. They get to take classes for free. It's countrywide in the U.S. They're rolling out different areas. I'm not sure when they'll be fully rolled out, but over the next year or two, they should be fully rolled out. And their big thing is going with the flow, right? Getting into this flow state. There's that, I think he's Czechoslovakian psychologist with the big long last name that it starts with CZEM something. And he has talked for decades now about this concept of flow and of getting into when you're in the middle of something that you just becomes effortless. And you don't realize that time is passing. So he talks a lot about artists being in flow, athletes, professional athletes, that sort of thing. And that's a big part of this Tai Chi program. And at the beginning and definitely at the end, they often talk about, okay, no matter what happens, let's just go with the flow. They don't want you to learn any specific moves as a student. They just want you to follow the teacher and, get out of your head, just get into your body and do what the teacher does. And that works for me and doesn't work for me. I struggled to follow the routines the first few times I did them and thought, wow, how am I going to teach these if I'm having a problem following them? And of course, then I learned them, but I'm still not 100% confident that I'll be able to teach them to people. I feel like if I struggle to learn them, then the students who I attract may struggle to learn them as well. And, but I'm thinking maybe I just need to kind of go with it. Maybe I need to go with it and be confident in my own teaching abilities and just accept it, surrender to this different way of teaching, this different way of thinking about Tai Chi and, not thinking that it's wrong or complicated just because I struggled with it, and maybe having it be an actual interesting hurdle for me to overcome, to be able to show people how to do these routines, which apparently a lot of people really, really love. I'm still in the middle of the training. It's kind of stalled right now because I'm in this stuck phase where I feel like, this is not quite for me, and I'm trying to look into options. But I love the idea of being able to teach veterans, and especially teach them for free if they get referrals from their healthcare provider, because that's the way it's going to work. And so anyway, I want to kind of work with the idea maybe of surrendering. Maybe that's what this video is about. Like I said, I didn't really know exactly what it was going to be about, but this idea of surrendering keeps coming back into my mind. And so I guess I'll leave it at that. And you can see all the footprints on the muddy, this is packed stone path here, and it's a little bit wet. It's kind of great. This is an amazing place. But I will leave it at that idea of surrendering, and think for yourself about, what things do you need to surrender to, or what things do you need to loosen up a little bit about. I think that's what my thing is that I have this preconceived notion about what Tai Chi should look like, and when I struggled with learning this routine and just letting go of all my ideas of what Tai Chi was and just trying to follow the teacher, that I couldn't let go the first several times. I really just struggled with it, and letting go, surrendering to the process, and trusting that it'll work the way it needs to is that's part of life. So anyway, I'm going to sign off. My neighbor's ducks were not here. I haven't seen the geese in a long time. There were a couple, whatever you call them, litters. Couple sets of baby geese. I think there were about 17 of them one day swimming down the canal, but I haven't seen them for a while either. So I'm guessing maybe they've started to migrate. I don't know. I don't know enough about goose behavior. But anyway, no animals out today. Maybe they're smarter than we humans are, and they're not out in the rain. I do have an umbrella, although it's not raining very hard, and there's lots of tree cover, so I probably didn't need to bring the umbrella, but I'm enjoying the sound of the rain on it. And I'm almost to the coffee shop where I'm going to plant myself for a little while this morning, because it's an amazing place. And so I'll just leave it at that. Think about the kinds of things that you want to surrender to, and let me know in the comments what you think you might want to surrender to. Thanks. See you next week.